we got a 3-2, but we didn't get a 1, so we are not ready. The red light has not gone on yet.
Why do you think it's important for UCO to have events like that, and what are students going to get from coming to these events?
Shit. I wish I would have prepared. I
wish I was prepared too.
Something.
It's going to be totally...
That's live though. You're never fully prepared for live. In my opinion. Never.
Have you ever done live?
Yeah, I've done live, but I never done without a script though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like that's, I mean, I think I've done for the election, but definitely not good.
How long before I get, because I've got other things I need to do.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we'll keep it short.
You like pick something else, and then they'll take something else.
Welcome to UCentral News. I'm Kate Strider.
And I'm Kayla Mina. Today we have a professor, Moose Tyler. She's a StratCom professor, and she's going to talk to us what's happening today at the MassCom building.
Well, today, actually for the whole week, we've got MassCom week going on. Hashtag UCO MCOM is happening, and all our programs that make up mass communication are come together and highlighting their department, offering workshops for students to sample, to get outside of their area and experience things a little bit outside of the classroom.
What do you think is so important for students to come learn at MassCom week?
Well, I think the point about MassCom week, or what's really great about MassCom week, is it gives all the areas of MassCom an opportunity to dabble within one another, whether that's professional media or journalism or StratCom or interpersonal communication, all these areas, photography. Students who are interested in MassCom can get a feel for all these different areas and then get a little bit of experience in all of them.
That's really amazing that UCO is offering such a variety of classes and lessons and information to all the students here. I'm really proud of the school. And tell me a little bit, if a student came here today, what can they expect and bring home from learning here?
Oh, well, it depends on what workshop or session you go to. We've got across the gamut. I just finished a social media workshop, which will be again tomorrow. We've got crisis communication. We've got photography workshops, editing workshops, documentary, the whole bit. So it depends on what session, but hopefully once you get in there, you'll get a little bit of experience, kind of talk to some industry professionals and other professors, and get hands-on, depending on what session you want to go to.
Are you giving a tour today?
I am giving a tour today. I am ready to take anybody on a tour of this building and show them all our wonderful facilities, from our photography gallery to our broadcast to just all around, just show students what we've got to offer, what's there for them, the tools that they can take advantage of.
Okay. What time are you giving tours? Can any student come at any time
All
to take
day.
a tour? All
you
day.
just come, you find me, I'll take you on. You want to be in a group, we'll put you in a group, but if there's nobody, I'll just take you around. It doesn't matter.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's really cool that UCO offers so much for their students and, everything.
Yeah.
So I'm really proud of this school.
Ah, it's a good thing.
Thanks
It's a
for
very good
having us.
opportunity.
Thanks for being here.
Hey, thanks for having me.
No, thanks for coming,
And
for
remember,
sure.
take a tour, people. It'll be fun, at least.
At the very least.
At the very least.
Welcome back with us here. We have Jimmy Scott, an interpersonal communications major here at UCO, and we're going to ask him a few questions. Jimmy, what are you doing today? Are you participating in any of the MassCom Week events?
Yeah, I was actually on a panel for ICOM careers.
Oh, what? You were on the panel? Okay, so tell me some of the things that y'all were talking about.
So a lot of it was us talking about the many different avenues of fields that we can go in with interpersonal communication. And so one of the best ways that we have illustrated it is that it's like having a key ring with a bunch of different keys on it, where some of us want to go into ministry. I personally want to go into training and development. There are people who want to go into travel agencies. And so we learn how to interact with each other, and we learn how to have more quality relationships. And that through that, we're able to be more successful, and we're able to go into many different careers than if we were to just be an accountant, or if we were to be an architect or something like that.
Exactly. So basically you're just saying there's so many different things that you can do when you're an interpersonal communications major.
Definitely. I took a couple classes myself. I took sibling communication and family communication, and it kind of opened my eyes to a lot of topics that I never thought about it. So tell me a little bit about today. Are you attending any of these events today?
So I was on the panel earlier today, and then I also plan on attending the graduate school one later.
Nice. Are you excited for that one?
Yes.
That's awesome. Are you coming tomorrow again to attend any of these events?
I'll have to look at the schedule and see what's available.
One of the things that I thought was interesting was the resume review. Did you hear about that? Did you go to any of those activities that were available?
I didn't have a chance to. I don't know if they're going to have one tomorrow, but if they do, then I'll probably go to that.
Yeah,
because
I'm not sure.
I know that'll be really important.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I'm actually right now like in the middle of rewriting my resume, and when I saw it on the list, I was like, that's actually really handy, because I know like a lot of just my friends and people who think they know how to make a resume, and then they go to apply for jobs and maybe don't get the job, or there's something wrong with the resume and they didn't know. So I thought that was really handy that you're able to have like professionals actually look at your resume and tell you what needs to be there, what doesn't, and things like that.
Definitely. I think it's a really good opportunity that UCO is offering for students. We have one talking about internships as well. So that's really helpful for students that are still like deciding what they want to do later. And an internship can kind of give you like a feeling like, okay, I'm going to be dealing with this issue. So I think it's really awesome that UCO is offering all of these classes and seminars and with different all kinds of topics, and I think it's really awesome for students to take advantage of it. Why do you think it's important for students to come and to be here present in these events? Why do you think it's important for them to take advantage of it?
I think that us as students here, we're like sponges, and we're able to soak up so much information. We're able to take it even whenever we don't realize that we're going to use it. We have so many opportunities, whether it's through resume building, whether it's through internships or faculty mentoring, all these different things, learning about photography or ICOM, whatever it may be. There's so many things that we can learn and take from, whether we realize it or not. And so I think a lot of it is something that we'll thank ourselves later whenever we attend these, and we may hear something and we may view our careers in a different light, we may view our education in a different light, and that at the end of the day, we'll look back on it and be like, wow, I remember going to this panel, I remember hearing these discussions and really opening our eyes to something that we may have already known, and it may have expounded on that, and it may be something that may have been unknown to us, and that we're able to learn and grow and be thankful for the experience that we had for it.
Definitely.
Exactly. One of the things I really like just about the mass communications department here in general is how like hands-on it is. The fact that we're able to sit here and broadcast, and how you were able to go to the panels and stuff, or participate in the panel, not even go, but actually be in it. What's one of your favorite things just about the mass communications department here at UCO?
One of the things that I enjoy the most is that it is very open to communication among all individuals. And so my classes are arranged and they're set up to have interaction among the students, among everyone in the class. And so it's not just you go in there, you sit through a lecture, and then you go home, and then you may or may not be able to apply it, but it's being able to learn from each other, learn from other people's experiences, learn from other people's viewpoints, and that you're able to learn how to communicate, learn how to present, learn how to talk to people, and learn how to build quality relationships.
Definitely.
Yes, I completely agree. Before I actually came to UCO, I was at Oklahoma City Community College, and I graduated from there, and then I went to OU. And one of the things that I like the most about UCO that I didn't really like about OU was just, I feel like it's more intimate here. There it was, I took some of my general classes there, so I was in a room with 200 people, talking to or listening to a professor lecture, whereas here I feel like it's so much easier to have relationships and with your professors. But thank you so much for coming, Jimmy. It was nice to meet you.
Yeah, I'm glad to be a part of this.
Yes, thank you, and enjoy the rest of MassCom week.
All right, thank you.
We'll be on a break, but we'll be right back. Thanks for back from our break, and we have today Dr. Carver. She's the chair of our department here, communication. Tell us a little bit, what can students expect from coming this week to all of the events we're offering?
Okay, well, we have a lot of different sessions. We have workshops going on in photography, in broadcast news and sportscasting, in a radio. And so if you're a high school student or an undeclared major or an unhappy major who is exploring other options, then you can learn about with some really hands-on experiences. We also have sessions with student panels as well as alumni panels that are coming and talking about the different professions that you can maybe expect or possibly explore if you major in one of our programs.
I heard tomorrow has been like designated recruitment day.
Yes.
Kind of. Is that so? That's more so for high school graduates and undecided majors.
Right.
What is to be expected tomorrow?
Sure, and transfer students
Oh, transfers as well. Yeah.
And, you know, we really tried to set up programs to explore our different majors and minors. And so if you want to kind of get a taste of one of the workshops that I talked about just a little bit ago, or you want to talk to some current majors, talk to some alumni, because I know it's just really hard. I have a daughter who's a high school student, and she's just really struggling trying to figure out, well, what do I want to do with my life, and what do these majors mean? Because we have majors like strategic communications and professional media, where on the surface you don't really know what that is.
Yeah.
Until you come here and are kind of immersed in it, you're like, oh, that's journalism, that's advertising, that's public relations. But to just hear the names of majors really means not very much, especially if you're 17, 18 years old. And so this way, students who think, oh, well, communications, journalism, that might be kind of interesting. Are there jobs in that? What can I do with that? And this way, they really can get a taste. They can hear from people who are currently studying it to see what the program is like, or they can find out what kind of jobs they can get after graduation.
Definitely.
What are you participating in any of the panels or discussions or anything today?
At 12:30, I am leading a panel discussion that's called Beyond the Agency, where we have several professionals from UCO and also one from USA Softball who's coming on campus to talk about, all right, if I'm in public relations and I don't really want to work for an agency, what is it like to work for a nonprofit or to work for a government agency in that field? So that's what I'm leading today.
We were just talking about that some of these events, they kind of prepare us for our future.
Yes.
We have a resume building section. We also have an internship section. So we were just saying that UCO offers a multitude of events to prepare us completely for a job or work after UCO. So why do you think it's important for UCO to plan these events for students, and why do you think students should come and take advantage of it?
Sure. You know, this is our first ever Mass Communication Week, and one of the reasons that we decided to do it is that there are a lot of things that we would like to cover in the classroom that you just don't have time. Things like resume or what are the steps to getting an internship. And we know that that's crucial. That's a crucial step at this point in your education, but how do you get that information other than just a little bit here, a little bit there, or maybe across campus? So we decided it was important enough that you get some of that information, that we take a little bit of time out of the normal semester and say, okay, we're going to focus on this at this time. I think it's wonderful. We had 29 different faculty or staff in our department that took the lead on either leading a session or designing a program or ordering the food and drink sort of a thing. So it was definitely a group effort because everyone knows how important that is, that you get the professional end of information to help you take the next step, because we know you're not going to be here forever.
Unfortunately.
And we want to help you get to that next step.
Even though we love UCO. And we could be here forever, but
Exactly.
Well, some people are here a long time. Most are not.
Well, thank you so much for coming. It was so nice to talk to you. And if you want to hear Dr. Carver speak today, she's leading a discussion at
leading a panel.
12:30. But we'll be right back.
Thanks.
our break. Today we have Chris Miller. He's a student, senior student. So tell us a little bit, what are you attending today?
Well, actually, I am functioning as the student ambassador, so I get to be part of leading other people and answering questions, and any holes that need to be filled, I can fill them. If the faculty needs anything, if the staff needs anything, I'm here for that.
Oh.
What's your major?
My major is interpersonal communication.
Got it. We had another interpersonal communications guy just a second ago. So you're not, are you going to attend
Yes, I am.
some activity? What activity are you going to attend today?
I'm going to attend a panel for grad school.
For grad school. Ooh, that's a good one. What time is that?
That's going to be at 12:30.
12:30. What are you going to hope to get out of the grad school panel?
Advice, knowledge that I don't have that other people have since they've gone through grad school.
Is it grad students on the panel
It's going to be people who have already gone through grad
who've gone through grad school? Well, that's awesome.
Tell me a little bit about your major. Why did you decide to choose communication?
Okay, so I'm an interpersonal communication major, and I'm minoring in leadership, okay? So I really enjoy talking with other people, and I think it's really fun. And I think that regardless of what I'm going to do, I'm going to be talking to people. So if I go into business, if I go into human resources, management, marketing, whatever you do, you have to talk to people. So it's essential, and it's inevitable. You're going to need it. So I really enjoy it, so might as well study it. And I get to learn theories, and I get to learn new, different vernacular, different vocabulary that I'll be able to use in everyday interaction.
Definitely.
So it's really helpful for me.
That's really awesome. That's really important. Yeah.
Thank you.
What do you think for students who may be thinking about attending MassComm Week or one of the activities, or maybe for like an undecided major or something, what do you think is important for them to come? Why is it important?
I think it's great to be exposed to different majors and different fields of study, because you may be completely happy in yours, and if so, then great, continue doing that. But if you're discontent, then might as well give it a shot. And there's multiple things that you can do, multiple opportunities for different majors within MassComm. You can have different careers. You have a key ring with a jumble of keys, okay? You're kind of like a janitor, right? He has a whole bunch of different keys that are all around the school. Well, that's how it's going to be after you leave school. You're going to have so many different opportunities with your career that you can do just about whatever you want.
Definitely. And you told me you're graduating in May. So tell me a little bit, do you think UCO really help you, like getting you ready for that job?
Absolutely. UCO was vital and integral to my growth, professionally,
Intellectually.
spiritually, intellectually, academically, you name it. It has been huge. So I'm really thankful. The faculty's great. The program is pretty thought through, and it makes you think. So it's been great.
What do you plan to do with your major?
Well, what I would like to do is I'd like to be a spokesperson or representative for maybe a company or an organization. And what I'd like to study after this is communication studies with an emphasis in advocacy. So learning how to speak for an individual, for a group of people, for a company and an organization. And I think that that'll be super fun. I love public speaking, and I love hearing what other people think and sharing what I think.
That's awesome.
Well, good luck on your future endeavors, and
Thank you. You
congratulations
too.
on graduating in May.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I still got to pass my classes.
Yeah, as do we all. But thank you so much. It was nice to meet you. And I think we're going to be right back with another guest.
Thanks, guys.
We're back today, and I'm so happy to introduce you to somebody that I really look up to, Scott Martin. He's a graduated student from the Mass Communication Department. Now you have a job. So tell us about your career and everything that happened after you graduated.
Well, I graduated in May of 2015, so seems unreal that it's been 2 years ago. It'll be 2 years ago in May. I got my start on air at KSWO TV in Lawton. It's a small market. You know, once you graduate, you start in a small market and just kind of build your way up. I'm now in another small market. I was there for about 4 months and got a better gig in Sherman, Texas at K10 TV. I'm a reporter, fill-in anchor there. It's been an amazing journey. There, you do it all. You know, I'm an MMJ there, so I shoot my own stories, edit my own stories, everything like that. Sometimes set up my own live shots. Depends on the story. Most of the time, I do have a photographer with me to go on a live shot type thing, but I have set up my own live shots, especially on the weekends. Yeah, it's just an amazing journey, and I love it.
And tell us, you were anchoring for UCO for a while, so tell us your experience with that as well.
My experience with UCO and UCentral News is the best experience. Anyone who wants to do this profession, who wants to get into the news business, I highly, highly recommend you work on the campus newscast. I was just telling on a panel just a moment ago, you have no limits. You're free to do what you want to do with UCentral. You can cover big stories with UCentral News. One story I remember was, the OU fraternity scandal.
Oh, yes.
We were there. UCentral was there.
Impressive.
CNN was there. Every national media outlet that you could think of was there, and we were right there beside them. So, I mean, you're free to do what you want to do type thing, and you really get really great hands-on experience working for the newscaster.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'm sure. What is your biggest piece of advice for somebody, for students here who are maybe wanting to go into what you're doing right now? So what advice would you give them?
My advice would be to take Desiree Hill's class, Professor Hill, take every single one of her classes, and get involved. Get involved with the newscast. You're going to learn. You're going to learn. That's where you're going to get your start. UCentral News gave me my start. You have to make a demo tape to get that first job. A lot of people do that at the internship. I made my tape from everything that I done here at UCO. So just get involved, make connections. Top two things: get involved with the newscast here and make your connections.
Are you going to be on any other panels today?
I'm not sure.
You don't know?
Sure.
Or tomorrow?
Not tomorrow, just today.
Just
I'm
today,
Just here for the
okay.
day.
Okay.
Just here for the day. But
Okay, well, I'll have to see. I'm going to come listen to you speak.
And it's funny because I'm anchoring now, and I totally look up to you, and it's crazy how the time just fly by, and then, like you said, it's been almost 2 years since you graduated, so so it's amazing for you. I'm really happy for you.
And I'm happy for you. You're going to get the experience doing it here. And I know
Definitely.
you've interned at KOCO, so internships are great. Internships, you actually find out, if that's what you want to do. You're getting involved in that newsroom. Internships are great.
We actually have a panel on internships and stuff like that. Why do you think it's important for UCO to present these events for students and give all this information and research and everything they need for the future?
For the internship panel? Because internships, that's going to help you figure out what it is you want to do in the newsroom. Like if you're a producer, I want to be a producer. Well, go sit with the producer for a while. You may find out, no, I don't want to do that. I want to do something else. The internship will help you figure out what it is you want to do within the newsroom.
Definitely.
There was one activity that I thought was really neat was the resume. It was like you could get professors, I guess, to look over your resume and kind of just go through it with you and tell you what shouldn't be there and what should. Have you learned any tips or tricks to writing when you were writing your resume? Like, what's some advice you can give us about writing resumes?
Writing resumes. I've always been told, you want a one-page resume. And that's really hard to do sometimes. And I worked with Professor Hill on my resume. I need to redo my resume, actually, so there's going to be some more questions that I'm going to have. Make it look nice, and then seek some advice from someone else in the business. Say, what should my resume look like this? Don't be afraid to show it to somebody, even if it's not fully complete, to say, okay, like, here's a foundation that I have. How can I beef it up, type thing. That would be, I guess, my advice on
All right. Well, thank you so much. It was so nice to meet you, Scott. I think we're going to have another guest here in a minute. So thank you so much for coming. It was nice to meet you. We're broadcasting live on here on campus, and you're watching UCentral News. We'll be right back.
welcome back. I'm Caitlin Ogle.
And I'm Elizabeth Spence, and we're here live with Dr. Terry Clark. How are you doing today, Doctor?
Very well. Thank you.
Good.
Good morning.
Good morning. It is a good morning.
It is a good morning.
It's wonderful outside, and we're live with MassCom Week. So, what are you doing for MassCom Week, Dr. Clark?
As little as possible. Actually, Moose Tyler and I had a joint session on social media, do's and don'ts, that was packed both yesterday and today. It was a lot of fun. Anything with Moose is a lot of fun.
Oh, absolutely.
Love news.
Yes.
Well, so what did this consist of? Tell us about it.
Basically, it's a what to do and what not to do when you're dealing with social media today, whether it's in your job or getting ready for a job or as a student in an internship. It sort of grew out of my ideas for my Twitter for Journalists class, but it also involves a lot of other things like Facebook, LinkedIn, the fact that you are your own brand, and anything you put up there may follow you forever.
Absolutely.
And we're doing a lot of, social media today. So
Yes.
for MassCom Week. So I guess that would really incorporate it for us.
Absolutely. All media is connected anymore. What we have in our pockets with our phones or on our computers is a printing press and a broadcast station and everything else all wrapped in, and it's instantaneous. So we've got to be very careful with what we put out there, regardless of our majors.
Absolutely.
In journalism or stratcom or photography, whatever.
Absolutely. And what other classes are you teaching?
I also teach currently a blogging class every semester where each student manages to create and maintain their own blog to help maintain and create what we call their digital footprint,
Yeah.
because you have to have some kind of a record.
Yeah.
It's sort of like a resume, only it's digital. And this semester I'm also teaching a history of journalism class at student suggestion. And next semester I'll be teaching a international media class where we study media in other countries.
Very fun.
Very nice.
Very fun. And are you teaching any other classes during MassCom Week?
I have a news writing short course coming up in 30 minutes.
Oh, very fun.
30 minutes.
30 minutes it's a crash course in how to write a short lead.
Ooh, very,
nice.
very important.
Absolutely, regardless of your major.
Yes, leads are
Absolutely,
extremely important.
absolutely.
We discussed
Extremely.
this.
Absolutely. No, so it'll be fun. It's something that you can cover pretty quickly. Writing a short lead is not that hard as long as you pay attention to what you're doing. What I enjoy most about this MassCom Week, it gets all of our students together. We share faculty, we share ideas. There's a camaraderie that comes together because of the faculty working together. Lots of excitement in the building.
It is lots of excitement.
Yes.
You're exactly right. Well, is there anything else you want us to know about what you're doing for MassCom Week?
That's all I'm doing. That's
all
it.
you got?
Absolutely.
All right.
All right.
I think
Thank you for doing this. This is a terrific experience and exposure for the entire department.
And
Yeah.
thank you for letting us interview you. We're
My
so
pleasure.
excited
Right
for
in
this.
time.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
All right, and I guess we're reporting live with UCentral News.
We'll be right back. welcome back. We're reporting live for UCentral News. I'm Caitlin Ogle.
And I'm Elizabeth Spence, and we're here with, what is your name?
Tommy.
Tommy, we're here with Tommy, talking about MassCom Week.
Absolutely.
Tommy, what are you doing for MassCom Week?
Well, for MassCom Week, basically just kind of attending a little bit here, as well as, working on campus.
And I understand that you have already graduated.
Yes, I graduated in May.
Very fun. And what did you graduate with?
Major in strategic communication.
Very nice. And you said that you are already working?
Yes, currently I work here on campus for the Office of Campus Enterprises.
Okay.
More specifically, I'm in charge of the social media for housing and dining and the Nye University Center.
Oh, okay. Okay. And what advice do you have for upcoming students that are coming into the MassCom program?
A little bit of the advice that I would give would be, just learn as much as you can, become friends with your professors. They're going to be the absolute best source of information that you can get. Take part in everything that you can. So clubs like PRSSA, Ad Club, some of the photography clubs, learn as much as you can and be a part of everything that you can.
Oh, that is good advice.
Very nice. And what are you planning on doing after because you told us that you got another job. So what does your new job consist of?
Monday I will start for a company called APMEX, which stands for American Precious Metal Exchange. They're the world's largest online retailer of precious metals, and there I will be the photo editing specialist.
Wow, very nice. Was there anything at UCO that you did specifically that really pushed you towards this choice?
One of the biggest things that I did here at UCO was the AAF competition. It really taught me real life examples of how things actually happen within the job force and what actually happens within advertising itself.
Okay, very nice, very nice. Do you have any more advice for any other students besides, being involved as much as you possibly can?
Take it all in.
Take it all in. All right. Well, Caitlin and I will be attending some of the MassCom Week events. Are you attending any?
A few, yeah.
A few. Are you going to be at the Pulitzer today?
Probably not.
Probably not. All right.
Which events are you attending?
Oh man, I can't remember the names of them. I'd have to look at the schedule again.
There's a social media one. I know that
there
we
is.
have a workshop for social media, and we're working hard for our social media today. So
yes,
very good.
Very nice. Yes.
All right.
And we're reporting live with UCentral. We'll take a break. We'll be right back.
All right. And welcome back. We're here live for UCentral News. I'm Caitlin Ogle.
And I'm Elizabeth Spence, and we're here with TJ Eckert, our UCO football star.
Oh my
Got some questions about
gosh.
MassCom Week, TJ.
Great.
Awesome. So, what are you doing for MassCom Week first?
Well, so far I've been to the preparing for a job interview workshop, and that was really good. One former UCO grad and then a OSU grad who was working with Bayer Aspirin just kind of gave us advice on what questions to expect when we're getting interviewed and how to respond to those. And the girl from UCO actually said she'd been on over 100 interviews, and and she graduated like in 2005, I think she said. So, and so she was just giving us advice on the questions that she's seen and how to respond to those, and then the do's and don'ts and stuff like that.
Wow, very nice.
That's a lot of interviews.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Don't want to do
No.
that. All right. And what would you say is the purpose of MassCom Week, coming from a student
Sure.
attending these?
Sure. I think the main thing that we try to get out of this is that there's so many different workshops and so many different things we can go to that it fits everybody. There's something for everybody. You know, like for my case, I'm graduating in May, so the job interview one was really good. I know there's people here that are working on social media for the newscast. The social media workshops are good for them.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of different things. We had an alumni on earlier talking, and they're doing a panel upstairs right now. So just kind of picking their brain about how they got into their career field and how they've progressed after college, I think is really big. And then there's also some for kids who don't know what they want to do yet. I think there's a What is MassCom panel today, and so people who may not know exactly what they want to do, they can go to that as well. So I think, go ahead.
No. Well, I saw on the schedule that there's also a building your resume class.
Yeah.
So in addition to that and the interviewing class.
Right. Yeah.
Kind of unstoppable.
Well, there's a lot. Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of different things, and one of the things actually that she talked about in my workshop was the cover letter and how important it is, and talking about how if there's a bad cover letter, normally they just throw out that applicant. So lots of tips that you may not know, and so it was good to go in there and listen to that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very nice. So MassCom Week is not just for multimedia, which I feel like a lot of people on campus usually, correlate us with, broadcasting, television. It's more just building your work and building up your, I think stamina against the workforce we're going into.
Well, you mentioned that in that workshop we had 2 accounting majors, we had a couple engineering. So it's not MassCom Week is not just for MassCom students; it's for everybody on campus. And she said it herself. We can't teach you how to communicate when you get to your job. It's something that you have to learn how to do in school. And so these workshops and these panels are helping with that.
Yeah, very fun. Nice.
Yeah.
Very fun. And then I don't know.
Any other workshops that you went to that you want?
No, that was the only one I've been to so far, and then I've been helping out with this. So I'm going to see if I can try to get to one. Football practice sometimes takes precedent, unfortunately, but that's okay. So just, whatever I can get to would be great.
All right. Well, we're live with UCentral, and we'll be right back. We're back reporting live on MassCom Week. I'm Elizabeth Spence.
And I'm Caitlin Ogle, and here with us is a new strategic communications teacher. And what exactly are you teaching?
Well, this semester I'm teaching public information methods and strategic communications writing. Last summer I taught case studies. I'm going to teach that again next semester. So.
Very fun.
And we understand that you're teaching a workshop. What is strategic communications?
Yes, with Dr. Lambeth tomorrow, and it explains the different areas you can go into at the strategic communication degree, which tends to be in public relations or advertising. And there's some overlap and there are differences as well. My background is in public relations, and that's been the bulk of my career, working in public relations and teaching public relations courses.
Who do you think is, you already taught that, or are you going to?
Case studies? It's tomorrow. The workshop's tomorrow.
Are you expecting people from our side, the mass media, or are you expecting high school students?
It's high school students. It's also open to any student here at UCO. It is a 3-day workshop conference, and tomorrow is not strictly high school, but that is the day you can get high school students to come here.
Right.
And we're anticipating there will be some high school students, but a lot of students have no idea what strategic communication is.
Yes. Being on the other side, sometimes I'm like, wait, what? What do you do? What's going on?
Strategic communication?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I should really take that. That would be interesting.
One of the things I try to explain to students is that when you work in strategic communication, you have to think like a journalist, and you have to be able to write in a media style. Otherwise, they consider you a hack, and rightfully so. But the end result of strategic communication is we want people to do things. If in advertising, you want them to buy something. If it's public relations, you want them to feel good about the company as well as buy something. So we actually try to change behavior. I mean, there's nothing dishonest about that. It's how you approach it and how you do it. You have to do it ethically, and you have to provide them accurate information.
Right.
So, and we have to keep journalists happy because of that.
Right. Yes.
So it's a tough.
I can imagine.
Tough path to walk down.
Yeah, it's like a ton of jobs rolled into one.
It is. It is, and plus you have to do well with business. The end result is you have to keep the business people happy, and so help them make money. That's part of it.
And speaking of that, I understand there's a campaign class that the StratCom majors usually take at the end of their college career.
The capstone class, yes.
And right now they're helping the Vista
That's this, and I'm on the advisory board for the faculty advisory board for the Vista, and there's some really good positive things happening with the Vista right now, and that's partly our fault, partly our culture's fault that we don't think print journalism is important. All you got to do is watch the movie Spotlight.
Oh gosh.
And realize just how important
Favorite movie.
Print journalism is. Investigative reporting is still kind of the bailiwick, other than like Frontline on PBS. The investigative reporting is still being done by the New York Times, the Boston Globe, Washington Post, and all that. And thank God they are doing that.
Yes.
Because we need it. It's
we definitely need
primary source of information.
primary source. And what's really funny, the trendsetters for the news media are still the New York Times and the Washington Post.
Yeah.
They set the pace for everything that happens in journalism, not only in this country, but globally.
Yes, yeah.
You're exactly right.
Yeah.
I know, speaking of social media, Facebook promotes the New York Times and the Washington Post.
Yep, and I get feeds on that, and I also, and then on my smartphone, I get feeds from the Times and the Post, as well as AP. That's another good feed,
Yes.
Associated Press.
Yes, yeah.
Yes, very good.
I know my Facebook feed is just full of Wall Street Journal,
Yep.
New York Times.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for talking with
Yes,
us. It was
thank you.
very nice to meet you.
Yeah.
We're going to take a short break, reporting live with MassCom Week. We clear? Awesome. Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
I mean, if you want to do it. I'm Elizabeth Spence, and we're here with Macy Garcia talking about MassCom Week. I understand you're a student ambassador.
Yeah, it was a great opportunity. I know Moose Hill and Desiree Hill and Moose Tyler contacted me, and they were like, "You want to be a student ambassador? You'll kind of get to talk to students and get to meet them one-on-one." And I was like, "Sure, why not?"
I know a few people have signed up for being an ambassador and didn't really understand the depth of the job that they were doing. So maybe fill us in a little bit on things that you didn't really expect being a student ambassador.
I think some things you don't really expect about being a student ambassador is like you're gonna have to I know a lot of people will come to me and they'd be like, I don't know what session to go to. And so I'd have to go, okay, well, what are you interested in? And you have to just kind of piece together, okay, if you're a pro media major, maybe you should go to this pro media deal that really focuses on, jobs and careers, and this will really help you in the future, even if they weren't sure about the session.
Okay,
So
and did you have to attend a lot of the workshops to kind of know what they were about, or did you just...
Most of them I know from classes, so that was kind of great for me. A lot of them was classes that my friends had been to, especially if they were pro media or photography, classes that I don't take because I'm an OrCom major.
Okay.
So it was kind of a different aspect, but that kind of really helped a lot, knowing students that had been in classes previous to that. So
very nice.
And what did you say that you were majoring in? I didn't quite catch that.
Organizational communications.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So a lot of the so the social media wouldn't be towards you, that a lot of people seem to be attending.
Social media, OrCom doesn't really focus on social media too much.
Right.
We kind of focus on talking between two people within an organization, and just making sure that that's effective and that the message gets along between two people and the rest of the company. So, I mean, but having those different aspects such as social media and knowing what people in photography do and professional media, you're able as a communication major to be able to like organize things for your organization.
So basically, any workshop is going to be beneficial towards you with your
honestly,
career.
it's honestly going to help just build who you are as a person. I even went to the dark side of close relationships, I think. Yeah, and that was kind of an interpersonal communication session, and it just talked about, you know, like how people try to be intimacy after rape. So that's something I can take back and go, you know, if somebody's been through that situation, I need to step back and let them go through their process. I mean, they even talked, see what else they went through. They actually talked about social aggression and like how women, you know, were more social aggressive than men and like kept things in. And I was like, you know, that's kind of interesting because in OrCom I'm going to be able to go, okay, women are going to think differently than men because men are going to be more physical, women are going to keep it more in. So it's like, how do I get them to bring up what they need to talk about? So
I didn't even think about something like that.
Yeah.
It's so interesting.
Very crazy to think about.
What event have you been looking forward to the most?
I think for me, since I am a senior, I was looking towards just knowing about the graduate panel and like what to look for in graduate school. Because it's like, okay, what is a GRE? How do I even, you know, go about even looking that up? And it was just interesting to know, you know, like you need to practice for 3 months and you need references and, you know, you get scared by it, but then you're like, I'm so glad that I got to know all that information, especially
Super
going
beneficial.
to graduation.
Yes. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Seeing as we're in communication, I know we have a professor who's back after a year in Europe, Dr. Kleeman. I don't know if you've met him or not, but he teaches human communication classes. Have you taken any of those classes?
Unfortunately, I haven't.
Okay,
So.
well, I mean, we're all communication, you know, majors, I think. So I was just curious.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming with us today and
No
talking to
problem.
us. We'll be right back. And again, this is UCentral News Live, coming at you from MassCom Week.
We're back with MassCom Week, reporting live. I'm Elizabeth Spence.
And I'm Caitlin Ogle, and here with us is JJ.
Hello, guys.
This is our sportscaster for UCentral News. So, JJ, tell us about sports. Sports and MassCom Week.
ball.
Sports ball. No. As the sportscaster for the news station on campus, it's actually quite a fun job if you like sports. I get to go out, go to hockey games, football games. Baseball hasn't started, basketball games. But right now the main one is not hockey, football. And so went to the game last week, and so that was actually, it was definitely an interesting side as a reporter, whereas being a fan. So when I was there, I had to meet with Chris Brannick, who is the sports information director, and he helped me get a hold of people to be able to like get up into the press box. And so once I got up in the press box, there was like 4 other people up there, and I just kind of like looked around and I was like, what am I supposed to do, guys? I don't know what I'm doing here. And so like they were like, oh, you just set up your camera here and then you basically just watch the football game. And so while like trying to angle the camera and get the good shots. So that was definitely a side of being the side of athletics that I've never been a part of.
Yeah,
So that was definitely.
That'd be fun.
Did you enjoy it? I mean, does the experience make you feel, a little exhilarated?
It has definitely opened my eyes that this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. So, because before I thought about like being a sports doctor, but I was like, I don't know if I feel like telling somebody they can't ever play sports again. And so then I went into the sports information side of it and becoming a reporter. And so getting to do that hands-on experience definitely made me realize that this is what I want to do. So that was really cool.
And what events have you attended already?
I've attended one football game and a hockey game. And that's really like all we've had since the fall semester has started. There's been volleyball and soccer, but they play at such weird times, like 4 in the afternoon, 2 in the afternoon, that I can't really make those because I'm in class.
Right.
And so as much as I would like to be at everything, being one guy, I can't be at everything. So.
Well, have you attended any of the MassCom events? Are you planning on it? I know we have the Pulitzer too.
I plan on going to the Pulitzer too, even though I am more of a sports guy. There's still trauma in sports.
Yeah.
And so I kind of want to see how to handle the trauma that goes on there, but it's definitely not going to be the same trauma that I would find in sports. Like with just recently, a young pitcher in the MLB died in a boating accident, 24 years old. And so that's going to be something definitely that'll be traumatic. And so it's going to be nice to at least like get a hand on how to handle those situations.
Yeah.
Very nice, very nice. Well, are you attending any other workshops?
One of the other workshops that I want to attend is the professional media / documentaries.
Yeah.
And then also the vendor that's around here.
Yeah.
That's selling all the cameras and microphones and stuff, just because like it's just kind of cool to see like what you could possibly be working with. I mean, I don't have the money for it, but it's
being familiar with
it. Like when I go to for the internship or go get a job somewhere, I can at least have an understanding of what items are there. So that'll be cool.
All right, very good. Well, thank you, JJ, for talking with us. We're
Thank
reporting
you.
live with MassCom Week. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to UCentral News. I'm Abby Feliciano.
And I'm Katie Towler. And this is Dr. Mary Carver, and she is the chair of the board here at UCO MCOM. And we are talking about MassCom Week. So, Dr. Carver, how's it been going so far?
It's been going great. yesterday we had a lot of different sessions, a lot of different programs, and they were well attended. And today, oh my goodness, the building is abuzz. And so there are people everywhere, and we have a lot of different kinds of sessions going on. And all of the fundamentals of speech students are in our sessions, as well as some undeclared majors or undecided majors across the university, as well as our own students.
Right.
So we have alumni here, we have people from the community here doing sessions. So it's been a lot of fun, a lot of things going on.
Yeah, and you're actually in charge of everything in Mass Comm Week, so you planned all of this. How stressful has that been?
That's been a little stressful, but we had 29 different faculty and staff take the lead on either a session that is going on, or inviting people to campus, or organizing refreshments, or doing the program. So it was definitely a group effort by everyone in the department, and we could not do Mass Comm Week without the whole department on board.
Right. I know this semester I'm in your communication and gender class. Are you teaching anything during Mass Comm Week, like related to gender in any way?
I am not. I was coordinating more than I'm teaching.
Right.
But at 12:30, I am leading a panel on Beyond the Agency. So we've brought in some different professionals who are going to talk about if you're in strategic communications and you're not sure you really want to work in an agency setting, what is it like to work in a nonprofit setting? What is it like to work here at the university in university communications? So I'm just leading that panel on that.
Wow, nice. So how did you guys decide what panels you were going to do? Did you just take all the different classes, or how's that decided?
Well, it's interesting. You kind of do a little brainstorming session, and you think, what do we want to accomplish? Who are all of our different students that we would like to have something available for? So we've done everything from resumes and writing or interviewing, to working on your portfolio, to more specific sessions on photography and video. So some of them were beginning classes. Maybe you didn't have time in your schedule to take a photography class, but you feel like, I really need to know more about that. So we tried to look through who was taking classes at what time, what were the different majors, did we have something for everyone?
Right.
And then it was a matter of everyone kind of pitching ideas and going, I think I could lead this kind of session. I think I could do this sort of session for this group. So, and it came together somehow.
It did. I know how you just said that you haven't had time to you're not teaching a lot of panels, so have you been planning it? Next Mass Comm Week, do you feel like you want to teach any panels, or have your own?
Well, and it's funny that you brought that up, because I was sitting in one of the sessions earlier this morning going, I should have done something on gender. Why didn't I do a panel? But this is fun, and all of these students are here, and so I might have to rethink that next year. But I think the second time you do a program,
right,
especially as big as Mass Comm Week, you learn.
It's like a learning experience.
It really is. We have learned a lot, and we're kind of taking notes and thinking, what do we want to change for next year? What do we want to alter? What do we want to do over again? So I think it will be a lot easier next time.
Well, you're certainly doing a really good job.
Well, thank you.
Mass Comm is just the greatest.
Thanks.
Obviously, yeah.
Great.
Well, what else do we
Well, Dr. Carter, thank you for talking to us.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome, of course.
All right.
Well, I'm Abby Feliciano.
And I'm Katie Towler.
And we'll be right back.
next one?
Yeah.
So get out.
Hi, I'm Katie Towler.
And I'm Abby Feliciano, and we're live at UCO MCOM Week.
And we're talking about all the different sessions we've been to and the ones we want to go to and what they're about.
The one I went to that I feel is like, it was really, really important just for all of us was the social media do's and don'ts, especially like with Twitter and all that, because it kind of, for nothing's private.
Right.
Even if you have your account on private, anything you put out there is out there, and you can never get it back.
Yeah, and your opinions, I mean, they can really make or break you as a journalist, because you are supposed to remain so unbiased and not have anything to, you know, anything that you are leaning more toward, especially this year when it comes to the campaigns.
Right. I feel like, and another big thing is that, I don't know, pictures, everything you do is just being monitored, and it like really just, I don't know, just like helps to like realize that you're being watched regardless. Anything that you do like could lose you a job.
Right, and that's what Dr. Clark even brought up in his. He said that, you know, it's social media, it's kind of you leaving your print, whatever you do put on there. And that doesn't go away.
It does not go away, no. And then it's just like, I like how he talked about, he said, you're branding yourself if you put social media. Like, this is the image that you put towards everybody, and it's not towards your friends, future employers, resumes. They're going to look at that type of stuff.
Right, right. And as for the other panels, like the What is Mass Communication, I feel like that's a very important panel, especially for students that are really kind of undecided as to what they want to do. And like Dr. Carver said in our interview, that it's good for people that don't know what it is and all the different majors that they can explore and learn. Because I think a lot of people get confused at exactly what mass communication is, especially when I say I'm professional media. No one really knows what that is unless they're in the mass comm building or know that major or familiar.
I feel like I've heard a lot of people have come up to me at least saying, oh, you're a mass comm major and you're a junior and you haven't switched majors yet? Like, no, I don't want to switch major. I feel like a bunch of people, like, I don't know, they don't really understand it, and then once you like grow to love your major, you never want to leave.
Right.
I'm never changing my major. Like, professional media is something that I'm lucky enough to have found early, and this is just what I want to do.
Right.
So, and I think the introduction into mass comm panel, people who are undecided, like you said, can give them a sense like, hey, this is what you want to do.
Yeah, this is what we're here for, and all the different things you can do with it, all the different jobs you can apply for and hopefully get.
It's a really big field.
Right, exactly. Mass communications, it is.
All right, guys. Well, I'm Abby Feliciano.
And I'm Katie Towler.
And we'll be right back. Welcome back to UCentral News. I'm Abby Feliciano.
And I'm Katie Towler, and we're here with student Astoria Jokes. And she also works at UCentral Media. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, that's right. I am a news anchor / kind of reporter for UCentral News here at UCentral. So it's pretty exciting. I get to, basically I'm already doing what I want to do when I leave campus. So it's really good experience for me.
Right. Do you think Mass Comm Week is helpful for students and people that are maybe undecided, or
yes,
the students here?
Yes. It's basically during Mass Comm Week, for anyone who's undecided or, swaying, they get to see like what mass communications is all about versus, just making the decision and finding out in class.
Right.
So I think it's very good what we're doing here, and it's very helpful.
Right.
I remember one time you said that your overall goal was when you wanted to work for ETV, right? And how do you feel like UCO and like just the mass communication or working for UCentral News is going to help you get there?
Basically just the hands-on experience.
Right.
It's not like I'm just learning everything in books, and then once I get there, it's like, okay, try it out, and it's for the first time. So I would already know what I'm doing. It's basically, since we have our, full-blown news station here, you're just changing locations and scenery, so it's not like any content or anything is
changing. And it looks good on a resume.
Yes, very good.
This is true. So do you plan to go to any of the panels that we have this week?
Yes, I'm actually going to attend our 2 o'clock panel with Ms. Deshill talking about, just trauma in the newsroom. Because a lot of people don't understand, when you're a reporter or anchor, just anywhere in the newsroom, you're going to see stuff that, happens, and it could be very traumatizing,
It has an effect on you and how you report.
Covering a car crash or just anything like that. So I'm really excited because it will give me some insight, in case, because I'm a very emotional person. So I know there's going to be times where I'm not going to be able to handle things. So I'm very excited to see, what tips and advice that Ms. Hill will give us.
Right, and they also have former students and people that are now working in the business that will be joining them on that panel.
Yes.
And I think that will be really helpful too, to see people that are actually working in the field and how they handle it.
And I like that, alumni come back, because it kind of, gives us, because, they always say, oh, once you graduate, it's hard to find a job. So it shows us and it gives us hope, like, there's a high chance, I'm going to be working. And we have colleagues now that are working, students right now, working at KOCO Channel 4 already, and they're right next to me in class. So I like working next to those peers because it gives me, the drive to, they're doing it and we're both in class. Why can't I be doing it as well? So I'm very excited, and I really thank the department for everything that they give us. So.
And E-News, that's obviously like LA, New York.
Yes,
do you want to
yes.
start in a small market and work your way up, or do you just want to go straight to a huge market like that?
Of course, I want to just go straight out there, but I'm going to definitely try and start locally just to get the experience, and then slowly transition. But if I do get the opportunity to go straight out there with the intern or just anything, I'll take the opportunity.
Right.
But just any experience that I can get. So.
Well, that is very exciting. I would love to just go to LA and start working, making money.
Too. All right, well, that's all we have for this interview, but we will be back with more live from Mass Comm Week. I'm Katie Towler.
And I'm Abby Feliciano. Welcome back to UCentral News live at MassCom Week. I'm Abby Feliciano.
And I'm Katie Towler.
And I'm Diamond Dave, former radio personality extraordinaire. Glad to have you with us. Ladies, beautiful day today.
It is gorgeous
Right?
outside. It's finally starting to cool down.
It's a bit windy.
You can wear long sleeves.
Long sleeves, it feels like fall. You need to be outside. Mass Communication Week kicked off this week on the east side, west side of the building. You see students entering left and right as they go and check out all these sessions that are targeting the mass communication field.
Yes. Are you excited about it?
Slightly, because I have one at 12:30. Please come to my event.
Okay.
Forget about everybody else.
What is yours?
We're going to be talking about the Pro Media program itself. Of course, you ladies are in Pro Media.
Yes.
Yeah, you see how proper they are. Very anchorish. And so we will have the session at 12:30 in room 120, and we're going to discuss the program itself and discuss about what students can plan on seeing and doing, and what they're planning, how they plan their schedule and classes they can take, things of that nature, and how all that leads to a job in the mass communication field. So that all starts at 12:30. Yeah, I think it's helpful. We had about 10 in the first session. We had 15 in the last session, and most of the students had questions regarding, what can you do with the career and what can you plan to do? And ultimately, you can almost do anything. When we talk about the College of Liberal Arts and mass communication, if you can write and speak well, which Dr. Hannibal will be here in a few minutes, he will tell you more about writing and speaking well as one of the key factors to being really, marketable for any type of job. And if you do that well, you're going to be marketable.
Right. So is that the only panel you're on, or you're on different ones?
Yeah, so tomorrow we'll do a radio workshop. I got students coming in from community colleges and high schools for the radio workshop, and then we'll have a session tomorrow from 1 to 1:50 that we're going to discuss travel tours for students who want to travel and go to other countries and use their mass communication skills. Nice. And so I've done a few of those in the past. And
Where have you gone?
Wales. Mr. Scott and I, Mark Scott, we've taken students to Wales. We produced a couple of videos for nonprofits in Swansea, Wales. And regarding drug programs, they do have an issue with drugs, and they have a lot of homeless people, and often a lot of them are very young in Wales, and so they wanted us to highlight the drug problems that they have and addictions that they have in Swansea, Wales, because one of the things the nonprofit told us is that everything you see about Wales is all these beautiful beaches and the castles and the beautiful prairies and pastures, but they said that's not. We want to show the other side of Swansea. Right. And so we went all the way to Wales, brought students, brought all the equipment, and produced a couple of videos in that 1 week, and we found ourselves having a great time. Rained every day. Oh. But that's Wales for you. Yeah. So we produced a couple of videos for them.
So that panel will be talking about where you guys can go and how students can become a part of that and get into that.
Right, and then Jesse Miller, who will also be part of that, and he has an Italy trip coming up, and I'll discuss my Wales trip, London trip. Dr. Hannah and I have taken students to Spain, Portugal, and Morocco. We did that a few years ago, so yeah. So there's a lot of good sessions. Come out.
I know I've had people come up to ask me, well, being a professional media major, is news all you can do? So what would you tell them?
Right, no, it isn't. News is a big part of the program, but we have radio news, we have documentaries, we have sports production, and the list goes on and on and on. So we like to provide a variety of things they can do besides news. Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, there you have it. Everybody come out. A lot of important information.
He wants you there.
Please.
All right, well, I'm Abby Feliciano.
And I'm Katie Towler.
We'll be right back.
Thank you so much.
Welcome back to UCO MassCom Week. I'm Abby Feliciano.
And I'm Katie Towler, and we're here with Dr. Hannibit.
The infamous.
Well, I don't know how
Dr.
infamous
Hannibit.
it is, but I'm here.
You are here. Are you teaching any panels today?
Yeah, we're doing something. There's a group of us doing something on pro media and what pro media involves, what we do in pro media, the different areas of pro media. So you can go into print, you can go into broadcast, you can go into documentaries, TV. There's so much you can do in our department, in our major. It's a very versatile major. Unlike some majors where you go in, you get out, you get a job in one particular area. In MassCom, it enables you to go and prepares you to go in so many different things. Many of my students have gone on to law school.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I took your law class last semester.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you pass?
I did pass.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I even made a decent grade.
Well,
Look at
I don't know how that happened, but okay.
I took your brainwashing class this
Yeah.
past summer.
Were you brainwashed?
I was.
Good.
Oh.
Good.
How
See, that's
does
what
that-
we do in MassCom. We brainwash.
Brainwashing.
Yeah.
It's important.
Anyways.
Yes.
So do you think that this MassCom week is helpful for students?
I think it's particularly helpful if you're looking for a major or if you are considering different options. We've got students coming in from the high schools tomorrow, and I think this will be very helpful for them to figure out, if this is an area they may want to go into,
Right.
and to show them the various aspects of mass communication, how versatile it is as a major. I hear a lot of problems in the media. There's nothing in the media. You shouldn't go into mass comm. Print's dead. All this stuff, and that couldn't be further from the truth. There are lots of jobs and lots of opportunities out there to make a very good living. And by that I mean six-figure living.
Right.
And so all you have to do is turn on the TV at night. You can see how well people have done in this
So
business.
the common misconception is that if you're a professional media major, you're doing strictly news, and that's the only thing you can do with that.
That's correct. And the stuff you see on Frontline, on PBS, documentaries, movies, that all starts here.
Right.
And so if you're looking for an exciting, in my career I was a journalist. I worked for a big city daily. I've interviewed presidents, prime ministers. I've traveled across much of the world, and I wouldn't have done any of that if I hadn't gone into this area.
Who's the most interesting person you've ever interviewed?
That would be difficult to say. Frankly, the most interesting people I've met were common, everyday, ordinary people.
Right.
I interviewed Ronald Reagan at one time, and that was interesting. But I would say that there was one woman who lived in the slums, and she raised three small children, and she's the one that sticks in my mind. She was an amazing person. So it's not the high and the mighty that are always the most interesting. Sometimes it's just the genuineness of people that you really get to know and see in this business.
You said something. You said people think that print is dead, and you said that's wrong.
Right. For example, at one point in my career, I was syndicated, and I was talking to some of the students a while ago about this. In syndication, you work for an agency, or you write articles for an agency, and then they peddle them or send them out to various news agencies across the country, around the world, and the more they sell, the more you get. So the syndication agency gets half and you get half. So I was telling the students a while ago, if, for example, 100 newspapers or magazines bought 100 of your articles, each one bought an article, and each one paid $100, that's $10,000. You get half of that. That's $5,000 per article. You do 2 of those a week, you're making 10 grand a week.
Right.
So I get really kind of upset when I hear people say, well, print's dead. Well, I don't think anything's dead if you're good at it.
Right.
Now, if you're not good at it, it doesn't matter what you do.
True. Yeah, that's right.
So, yeah.
Well, all right. Are we done?
Are we done?
We are. I'm Abby Feliciano.
And I'm Katie Towler.
And I'm Mark Hannibit, and
He is.
thanks.
We'll be right back. Welcome back to UCO Mass Comm Week live with UCentral. I'm Abby Feliciano.
And I'm Katie Towler.
And I'm Liz Skelton.
Hi.
Hi.
Nice to have you.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so what have you been doing in Mass Comm Week?
Well, I graduated from UCO in 2012, and I'm here speaking on a panel, which was a lot of fun. We just finished up, but I started here, graduated. I started at Coco as a producer, Channel 5. I worked there for a couple of years, and then when I was finished there, I moved to a station in Fayetteville, Arkansas, which is where I'm currently at. I'm the assignment manager there now, so I've moved up a little bit, and that's kind of where I'm at now.
So you're a UCO Mass Comm alum.
Yep.
How important do you feel like it is that alum come back to talk to people?
Oh, it's very important. I think it's critical to see where UCO can get you. It got me a long way. The professors here are top notch. The program is top notch, and it's kind of unknown. I feel like it's kind of a hidden gem, and we need to get the word out and let people know how awesome UCO is and how great the program is.
And did you work for UCentral?
I did, yes.
And how do you feel like that prepared you?
Well, I was kind of the guinea pig. I was in the original producer class that Desiree Hill taught.
Right.
I was the first producer on the UCentral newscast.
Wow.
So I've come a long way from that, but it was very, very small when I started, and it's nice to see how much it's grown into such a big program, but even at its small stages, it was so beneficial, and it really helped kind of guide me in my career and where I ended up now.
So is that what you originally wanted to do and planned on doing?
No.
What you're doing now?
No, not at all. Desiree actually got me into producing with that very first producing class. I wasn't even convinced I wanted to be in broadcast journalism at first. And it was actually Dr. Nelson who told me I should do broadcast journalism, and 6 years later, here I am. But yeah, no, it's not what I always wanted to do, but it kind of helps when you have great mentors who are guiding you and helping you make those decisions. So.
And you said you're in Arkansas right now?
Yes, I am.
Is that the market that you want to stay in, or did you want to expand New York, Chicago, LA, something like that?
I don't think I want to go that big. I would be open, to moving up in a larger market, but my family's in Arkansas, my husband's there, we want to raise our family there, so we'll probably stay there for a little while.
Okay, and we were talking just with Dr. Hannibit now. Did you have him in class?
I did, yes. He taught me my media law class back in the day. Yeah, so.
He taught everybody in media law.
I think so.
Yeah.
So do you have any desire to ever come back and teach or anything like that? Or
Absolutely, yes. That's actually something Desiree and I have been talking about, kind of crossing over into that teaching world. It's a whole different thing. So, maybe get a little bit more experience under my belt and then bring it back to you guys and try and share it.
What panel were you on today?
Oh, that's a great question. I think it was like an alumni mass comm panel. I'm not sure if it had a title, but yeah, that's where I was.
Okay.
One thing that we were talking about earlier, there was a social media panel about social media do's and don'ts. You being where you are now, how important is watching what you put on social media?
Oh gosh, I think regardless of what business you're in, it's important. But especially in journalism, I mean, especially for On Talent, they have their media accounts. You just have to be careful. You can't be biased, even if it's on social media, and it's very important to watch what you say, because it's out there. Once it's there, it's there.
Not even just watching what you say, but certain pictures you post that usually would be fine if you, were anything else besides in the face of the public.
Sure, yeah. I mean, you've, especially on breaking news scenes are great examples. If you've, depending on the situation, you don't want to sit there and snap a selfie and post it on Facebook. Hey, we're at a breaking news scene, and meanwhile there's somebody who's lost a life or a car accident. Or
so basically, just all about being professional at all times.
Always. Yep.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm Katie Towler.
And I'm Abby Feliciano. And UCO Mass Comm Week will be right back.
Welcome back to our coverage here on the University of Central Oklahoma's campus. We're continuing our coverage of Connect to Your Future here at the MassComm building.
I'm Jacqueline Chappell.
Jacqueline, so we've gained so much experience here in MassComm here at this university. Tell me a little bit about your experience that you've...
You know, I've been a student here at UCO for almost 2 years now. I transferred from a larger university, and I can't even explain how different the experience at UCO here is. I mean, at my other college, I was not a MassComm student, but I did know people that were in their mass communications program. But, I mean, they don't even have nearly the opportunity that we have here.
And, you know, a major opportunity we had this past summer was going to Philadelphia. Jacqueline and I covered the Democratic National Convention up there in Philly. It's just tremendous the amount of experience we gained. We were the only college up there in Philly covering that live.
Well, there's some other colleges. We were the only one from Oklahoma.
From Oklahoma, yes. We were the only one from Oklahoma.
We got to see, we were there all 4 days for the convention. We got to see, I mean, the President of the United States, all the way, I mean, Hillary Clinton, Bernie Sanders. We saw everyone.
Michelle Obama.
Mm-hmm. And then him and I had just come out of a political election class the semester before. And so that, I mean, getting to know all the information from that class and using that hands-on while we were at the convention was a really, really great experience.
And you know, I just got out of a panel here in the building where we talked to some alum from UCO here, who some are producers, reporters, anchors here in the market, and they talked about the election that's coming up here in the next few months, and it's an historic election.
Yeah, I think we've got 41 days, 41 or 40, right there, right over a month left.
That's right, and there's been a lot of chaos in this election.
Yeah.
On both sides, and we're going to actually talk to an executive producer from Fox 25 here coming up. We'll get her opinion on the media's point of view here in the election. She has some good tips.
Yep. And we're looking forward to it, and we'll toss it back to you guys for now.
We'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
Welcome back to our continuing coverage here at the University of Central Oklahoma. We're joined by Tanya McCleary. She's an executive producer at Fox 25 here in Oklahoma City. Right before the break, we were talking about the election process and how it's been kind of like an anti-media election this year, kind of on both sides. So we're going to get, Tanya, we're going to get your
get your opinion on what that's like to experience from more of a professional side.
Well, first, right, as the executive producer of Living Oklahoma, I am not on the news side, so I have been blessed not to be part of this anti-media circus that is going on, but I have had decades of experience in dealing with politics and elections. I will tell you the most contentious ones have been in places like Ohio and in Florida, and you have to be very careful. If you want to say, make sure you're checking your facts, make sure that you're double checking your sources, and making sure that you are as fair as is humanly possible. That's necessary when you're in places that decide who will be president. And in the last election, it was down to making sure that you had both sides, not matching, making sure that the competing sound bites were the exact 13 to 15 seconds. It was down to making sure if you showed an anti-this person sign, then you had to have the counter, and they were counting. Mm-hmm. And that was one of the things, is that you always knew that there was this belief that you were not going to be fair. So it was so important that you make sure you were overly fair, and you checked, rechecked, and checked again.
Tanya, can we talk about the importance of fact-checking at the debates? That's been a hot topic lately. Is it the moderator's job to fact-check those presidential candidates?
I think you have to do your homework. I believe that if you know something is a blatant lie, you do need to call them on it. But we are in a precarious time right now. We are in a divided country. We are in a country that the problems can't be wrapped up in a debate. And so as journalists, we have to stay out of the fray. And I think as a moderator, that's that concern you have, that I may come across as if I'm taking sides. And so it's a very precarious time right now, and you have to do your job. The facts are the facts. People are going to believe what they want to believe, but your job is still to deal in the real world with real truths.
I just got out of that panel upstairs with you and several other alum from UCO here, and we talked about the importance of, as a producer, picking sound bites that tell both sides. Like,
absolutely,
if you're going to pick a soundbite that's one way, you need to pick a soundbite that's...
And it has to be in context, because taking things out of context, those are the things that get people sued, that get stations sued, that get their license called into question. Because what happens is, I may have said the sky is green when we all know it's blue. But the soundbite you put on said, and Miss McCleary says the sky is green, and we know that's not true. Well, you didn't get the whole thing. She said, if the sky were green and the grass were blue, what an incredible world we'd have. You took me out of context, and the result is you made me sound like an idiot.
Right.
So as journalists, we have to make sure we keep everything in clear perspective and tell the truth.
And I know we're getting ready to go to break, but if you could, I know you're a UCO alum, and if you could give one piece of advice to any students right now that are wanting to get into the media market, what would that be?
Meet as many people as you can. Networking, and study your ethics. You got to know what you're talking about.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank you for being here with us, and we're going to go to break real quick, and we'll be right back.
Thanks.
Welcome back to our live coverage here on the University of Central Oklahoma's campus. Our MassCom week is continuing. Right now we have two producers from the Oklahoma City market, Amy and Natalia. Amy, you work at News 9, Natalia, Fox 25. Let's talk about your connections that UCO helped you with in your step into the news.
Sure. Well, I used to work for UCentral back in the day, and just the experience of getting out there and working with professionals, even as a student, on a student level, it was something really great because it kind of helps you open the door, as well as your professors here, that helps you open the door as well, because they've more than likely worked at other stations here, so they have connections that can kind of help ease you in, whether it's an internship or your first position. So if you're working like an assistant in production or as an AP, they can really just help you kind of get your foot in there, and then you can start working your way up from there.
What would you say the most important classes you took here in the MassCom building were that help you now?
Okay, sure. Yeah, I think management. Any kind of management class is probably the thing that I had the most kind of input from, or output, I guess.
That was with
Desiree.
Professor Hill, right?
Yes,
she's right
Professor Hill.
Right off camera here right now.
Yeah, so Desiree taught me all about how management and about managing up, managing down, so I can kind of gauge my boss and help kind of manage her a little bit, even though it's not really my job, but try to kind of fill her out and see, what kind of mood she's in that day, or how she's going to feel about a certain topic or coverage that we did, and also manage those around me, because even though as a producer, I'm still the boss. I'm managing the anchors, the reporters, the associate producers, production, editing. I'm in charge of all of that, and the person that's above me is my boss, the executive producer, and then our news director is above her. So I'm pretty high up there. Well, as a producer, you're high up there anyways. Yeah. So it's just trying to figure out, how to keep everything going as far as getting your show on the air and making sure that everybody's, not necessarily happy, because you don't need to be a people pleaser, but just getting them to cooperate with what you're doing and, share the news.
Okay. And Amy, you mentioned that the class you thought was most important was, you said, management.
Yes.
And what would you say that yours was, Natalia?
I would have to say media law. I do a lifestyle and entertainment show, the only one in Oklahoma City or the state. I think it's a city. Let's just keep it safe. But so I deal with a lot of different things. We don't do the newscast where we go and ask people what they want, what we want from them. They tell us what they want from us. So it's a little bit different. So you kind of have to know, the where to go with your media law. Ethics is really important. And just because we don't do news, I don't do news, doesn't mean that I'm not a journalist too. So all those basics still apply.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, so it's amazing how UCO their broadcast area can help you in so many different ways, whether you're still a journalist, whether you're working with UCentral News, or whether you're working in the radio, or you're working in with our podcast or on the Vista or anything like that. It's amazing how it can help you in your future.
Yeah, definitely. And also, UCO students, now that I'm in the producer position where I get to see interns and stuff like that, UCO students are widely known for all the stuff they have to offer compared to other universities.
Yeah. Our department here definitely trumps OU and OSU, and OSU doesn't even have one right now, so we're pretty much the best in the state. And professionals who are high up, who've been doing this for 30 plus years, will continuously say that over and over and over again, that UCO students, UCentral students, are the best that are coming out of universities across the state.
Right. We've taken a couple of field trips to a lot of the Oklahoma news stations, and they have said specifically that they're more likely to hire UCO students because they have learned more what they're looking for than they are one of the other OU or OSU or anything like that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that those colleges are bad or anything. It's just the opportunities that you get here at UCentral are above and beyond.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Definitely.
What's one thing that you could pass along to students who are about ready to graduate and go into the field? What's one piece of advice you can give to them?
I would probably say, just as soon as you get in the door, just start working hard to get wherever you want to go to next. You're not guaranteed a job, and whenever you do get hired, that you should be grateful that you got a job in general, especially in this city. So once you get your foot in the door, just start working your butt off to get to the next place.
Yeah. And then what's your piece of advice?
If you get the chance to do something, do it, be fearless.
Well, I appreciate you both being here. You are watching UCentral News Live on the campus of UCO, and we'll be right back.
Welcome back to a beautiful day here on the campus of the University of Central Oklahoma, where we're continuing our MassCom week coverage. Right now we're joined by Professor Mark Scott. Mark, tell us about some of the classes that you teach this semester.
Well, this semester I'm in the professional media, obviously area of study right now. Doing a short film class, which it's the first time I'm able to do this for a full semester. I've offered it in the summer before, but 16 weeks now, which is a lot more time for the students to get a film produced, and I'm really excited about that. It's fiction film, so since we have a documentary minor, we thought we'd offer something that dealt in fiction as well. Do video field production as well, which is a requirement for all pro media majors. Short film is a elective course, but video field is a core course, and then I'm also doing media production for the first time in about 2 years, which is an intro course. So a lot of Stratcom majors and then pro media majors take that course as well. So that, and then a sports intercession as well. So.
Awesome. Well, we hadn't talked much about the documentary side yet. I mean, what are some of the opportunities that students that want to go into film have here at UCO?
Well, they have now more than ever, and actually if you haven't talked to him yet, I'm sure you will. You'll be talking to Jeffrey Palmer, and he can talk more about the documentary minor, I'm sure, but it's the first semester we have that opportunity offered to our students. And you know, pro media right now is an exciting time for our students because they have more opportunities than they ever have before.
It's a growing industry.
It is, and before we're always strong at news. We always will be, both on the broadcast side and on the print side. But it's nice to be able to offer these other options to our students as well. It just makes you more marketable, I believe, and I think the faculty here at UCO believes that as well.
Let's talk about the hands-on atmosphere here at UCO, where you don't really get that at OU and OSU. You can,
you're
time of day you can go check out a camera here, take it home with you.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and not to talk poorly about other institutions, but no, what we do here is very unique. You're absolutely right. You have access as a student to more equipment here than anywhere else, honestly, in the state and almost the region. So. It's great. I mean, if you're enrolled in a course here, you literally have thousands of dollars at your fingertips at any time, and kind of the sky's the limit depending on your creativity and how hard you want to work at a particular project. So, I mean, to me, it's awesome. And you're right, you don't get that at OSU and OU. You're usually in your junior or senior year before you're able you touch this equipment, which is ridiculous to me. And so we've always taken a very hands-on approach to it, and I think we always will.
Another great thing about us being hands-on is speaking from my experience, I've been at some of those other institutions, and you're in classes of 300 people. Your professor doesn't even know who you are. And you just hear your professor knows you, develop a relationship with everyone here. I mean, it helps you in marketing and getting a job later. There's nothing that compares to UCO's MassCom area. I mean, UCO in general, but MassCom is a great place to be at UCO if that's what you're wanting to do.
No, I would have to agree, and especially with the class size. You're right. I mean, professors get to know their students, students get to know their professors, and I think that's important. I mean, when you can walk up to someone and look them in the eye and, know them by name, I mean, you don't get that everywhere. You're just a number in a class. So,
your name, not a number.
Exactly, yes, but here it's the opposite. You get to know the faculty on a first name basis, and, you develop those relationships, and I think it means a lot moving forward, and especially when you're asking for recommendation letters, which all students will be in some way, shape, or form. They want a recommendation for either an internship or a job. I mean, it's important that a professor can say, you know what, I had that particular student in class, and they're going to do a great job. And 9 times out of 10, I mean, that's the case here.
Couldn't agree more.
Alrighty, thank you, Mark. You're watching UCentral Live here on the campus of UCO. We'll be right back.
All right, and welcome back to UCentral Live on the campus of UCO. We are covering all things going on in Mass Comms Week. I am James Rodriguez.
And I'm Alicia Rubin.
And we're kind of winding down a little bit here. Got our last few sets of panels going on right now. Of course, the Pulitzer Centennial event is coming up right now. You can still go to the vendor fair that's going on right now. They have, cameras and stuff that you can check out. And, I think that's a good thing to show students because, even though we have access to, good camera equipment that we can, rent, a lot of students just like to, get their own stuff and get familiar with it for when they're, out on the job by themselves.
Yeah, of course. And just to know and be able to have hands-on experience before purchasing. Like a lot of times I think students can run into the problem of buying something without knowing what is the best system to use. So I think that this is really good and informative for all of our students.
Yeah, because there's always the thing they say, you're either a Canon person or a Nikon person. So it's probably a good idea to, sort of figure that out,
right,
before making the purchase.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, you mentioned the Pulitzer Centennial that is coming up at 2 o'clock. That is such a huge experience
thing.
That UCO students get to have. We have 7 professionals that are coming in from all over the nation. Some of them UCO graduates, and we actually have the Pulitzer Prize winner. Let's see, his name is Charles Porter V, and he's the one who got the picture of the child coming out of the Oklahoma City bombing. So, we have some really respected, professionals that are coming in to talk to us, and that's an amazing opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it is sort of a very serious topic, but I can't, help but kind of just getting a little excited over it. Just to, with somebody who's a Pulitzer Prize winner, that's really, the cream of the crop for our field. So the idea that, we have access to seeing these people and getting to hear these kind of people speak is just amazing.
Yeah,
I think.
Absolutely. Something you're not going to get anywhere else, that's for sure. So the Centennial is actually covering journalists and trauma, which is something that I think a lot of times is overlooked. People don't realize that sometimes journalists do struggle with PTSD, especially covering those traumatic things such as the Oklahoma City bombing or even fatal car accidents. Can be really hard on journalists, especially without taking the proper self-care.
Yeah, it's something that definitely needs to be discussed and needs to be taken into consideration because, I think sometimes people can think of journalism as just sort of the softer news, but we hit hard subjects and, we get sometimes just as involved as the people around it. And, journalists can even be, affected by these things.
Right.
And, it's worth talking about.
Of course. And our professor, Desiree Hill, is actually going to be there giving a little presentation on it. And she made a great point just talking about the fact that this is not taught in schools typically. So we'll be right back to discuss some others. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're watching UCentral Live on the campus of UCO. We'll be right back. All right, guys, welcome back. You're watching UCentral Live on the campus of UCO. We have a very special guest with us here, Scott Martin, UCO alum here to talk to us. It's very nice to have you, Scott.
It's good to be back.
All
All right, so we're going to ask Scott just a few questions. He actually graduated. What year did you graduate?
In May of 2015, so
Okay,
it'll be
so-
2 years.
Wow, that's crazy. But then so awesome. He came to talk to our class actually recently, and you talked about an internship that you had received while you were in school. Is that correct?
Well, I was looking if it wasn't an internship. I got hired on there. I started out at Channel 4 here in Oklahoma City as a part-time writer and assignment editor. So that actually trumped my internship because I was hired. I didn't have to do an internship.
Okay,
So that was pretty cool, and that, really, that's where I got a lot of my training besides UCentral.
Yeah, of course. So how did you went to that job while you were in school?
Mm-hmm, correct.
So is that a lot, balancing learning while doing it hands-on?
It was definitely a lot because I worked 2 other jobs on top of that
Oh,
job.
wow.
Yeah, so going to school full time, worked for UCentral News and worked at Channel 4 as well. So yeah, it was a lot, but I wouldn't change a thing.
Yeah, well, and you're successful now. You have your own show that you help report for and anchor. Is that correct?
Correct. I work at K10 Television in Denison, Sherman area. We cover North Texas and Southeast Oklahoma, Ardmore area. Report 4 days a week, 5 days a week, fill in, anchor. I kind of do it all. I've produced there, I've anchored there, I'm reported there. I do it all.
That's amazing. And you feel like you got that experience from UCO, being able to do all of those different things.
Definitely. All the training, it's one of those things where you just have to jump in and do it. And UCentral allows you to do that. You have no limits here.
Yeah, and Scott, how did you sort of get into things? Because I know for a while I sort of just saw you as, the big anchor guy and then, kind of who I aim to be. So, how did you get into it and, get to where you were, sort of?
It all started out taking Professor Hill's class, those classes. The way she just delivered the lesson for the day or whatever just really instilled a fire in me.
Mm-hmm.
Then I started working for UCentral News. And I jumped in with both feet and went and fell in love.
All right, great.
So what advice do you have for students who maybe aren't sure what they want to do as far as the business, like producing or anchoring or reporting? Or do you have any advice for those students who are searching?
Yeah, for starters, I would say, you're at the right place. That's UCentral News, UCentral, the mass comm department here allows you to figure that out, to figure out if that's what you want to do. That's also why internships are so important, because, you may want to be a reporter. You go and do to your internship and, watch a producer or something like that. Then you find out, oh, no, I really like this.
Mm-hmm.
I recently, last week, talked to Professor Hill about this because I'm a reporter. I love it. But I'm starting to see that I kind of, like producing too.
Mm-hmm.
So being a part of UCentral, being a part of this mass comm department allows you to find that out. And you just have to give it a shot. That's why you're here. You're here to learn. You're here to give it a shot. And, same with an internship. You're there to learn and figure out if that's what you really want to do.
Yeah, of course. So where do you see yourself going? Where do you want to go next?
That's a very tough question because my contract is coming up in about 9 months. Oklahoma City's home, so that's definitely on one of my lists, on the list. But I kind of want to try somewhere else. I'm 25, so I kind of want to see other places. So maybe try something else out before coming back home. Eventually, I want to end up here.
That's awesome.
What would you say would be kind of your, pie in the sky, kind of like ultimate dream position or location, sort of?
Well, I've always had a passion for the East Coast. Everybody's dream is different. My dream is, to find that bigger market, top 50 market that I want to settle down, call home, and, ideally I would love to anchor one day, but at the same time, I'd love reporting.
All right.
Love it.
Well, thank you so much, Scott, for joining us. Stay tuned on UCentral Live on the campus of UCO. We'll be right back.
back. You are watching UCentral live on the campus of UCO. We have our Professor Jeff Palmer here with us today.
Hello.
And he just actually had a seminar over documentaries.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about what was in that seminar?
Yeah, we, well, I've been working on creating the documentary minor here at UCO and Mass Comm. And so we have several classes that people take on a track. And one of them is a documentary seminar, which is really labeled Intro to Documentary. And we do a number of things where we do autobiography, mockumentaries, biographies. Actually, James has been in this class.
I have.
Yes.
It's quite the experience.
Yeah. And then we end with the final project. And so it's a very sort of, reaches all across documentary and trying to figure out things and stretch it and pull it because it is a field right now that is going in different directions. It's such a new field and a fresh field that we're able to do that. So.
Yeah, that's amazing. And you actually have made documentaries and been successful in that.
Yeah,
as well.
yeah. Right now I'm working on a documentary for PBS American Masters, which is a biography on the writer N. Scott Momaday, who won a Pulitzer in 1969, and he's from Oklahoma. And so American Masters came to me off the success of another film that I did called Isabel's Garden that premiered at the Sundance Film Festival in 2015 and gave me pretty much carte blanche to go out and do this biography. So it's been a crazy experience, and a lot of hard work.
Yeah, I can imagine.
but it's been great. So yeah, my professional career is kind of taking off. So,
well, that's awesome. How'd you sort of get into documentary filmmaking? Because it seems like for as long as I've known you and I've been taking classes from you, that you've always been involved in some sort of project.
Yeah. When I was at the University of Iowa, where I got my Master of Fine Arts degree, it focused mainly on documentary, and both of the filmmakers that were my mentors, Leighton Pierce and Sasha Waters, had both done extensive documentary work for HBO and A&E at that time when they were doing documentary Showtime, and now they're doing things for Netflix and doing art installations and just a ton of things. But that particular program geared me towards nonfiction. And so it's one of the reasons why I became so interested in it and really entrenched myself into nonfiction. The other reason is I do films on Native American subjects, and because I am Native American and from Oklahoma, and I've always seen documentaries on Native subjects as being something that was rather a negative examination on that culture. So I thought my experience and the things that I do as a filmmaker allow for me to create new experiences and new ideas about my culture.
Yeah, that's very cool. So you are from Oklahoma. Did you grow up here?
Grew up in Oklahoma, yep.
Born and raised.
Born and raised, yes.
So then you went to a different school, though. You didn't go to school in Oklahoma?
I went to OU for my undergrad and then worked on my PhD, actually, at OU. And the reason why I left that program, which was in history, was because they wouldn't allow me to make a film as part of my dissertation. And so I immediately transferred out and found a film program where I could make films. So
that's amazing.
So, yeah. So other than, of course, taking your documentary classes and everything else, what would you tell aspiring young, wannabe filmmakers? How do they get into that? How do they break in?
Well, the field right now is, it's at its best in terms of technology. You could go out. You can buy a drone for $500 these days. You can go out and buy a professional recorder for a couple of $100, and you can even buy cinema cameras for under $2,000, $3,000. So for a very small price, you can start your own production company and you can go out and make films. And in this industry, there's not a ton of competition, I don't think, especially in Oklahoma. And so it's a good way to bring in income. Just going out and doing a commercial or a PSA or a short documentary for a company, you can get upwards of $10,000 to $15,000 just to do one of those things. And so right now the technology allows you to be able to put everything into your backpack basically and go and make a film.
So have you always been interested in film? Has this always been where you wanted to go?
I think when I was a child, I really was excited by, going to the theater and watching movies. It was just something that I didn't know how to do and never really thought it was possible. It was only until I became an adult and the way that technology has changed for independent filmmakers, that it became a reality. And so now I'm doing it. So.
Such an inspiration.
Yeah, indeed. Thank you so much for being with us here today. It's a great honor to have you, Jeff. I really appreciate you coming out here. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have more of UCentral live on the campus of UCO, so stay with us.
Hello and welcome back. You're watching UCentral live on the campus of UCO. Right now we have Caitlin Mills, who is the editor of The Vista here on campus, another media outlet that students are welcome to get involved in. So Caitlin, tell me how you got involved in that yourself.
It started whenever I took this class called Newspaper Participation, and I found that I really loved to write a lot. Like, it was just, I knew that I had liked to write before coming to college, but it was usually creatively. So whenever I was in the journalism classes and I was asked to, go and interview people, I found that I really enjoyed stories and getting to know these people. And so after the class, the advisor for the newspaper, Teddy Birch, he asked if I would be interested in writing for it as a reporter. And I was all for that. I was so excited. And then a semester after that, the editor before me, she was graduating, and so they had all voted for me to become the new editor-in-chief. And so this semester is my first semester doing that, so it's pretty exciting.
All right. And how long have you been working with the Vista? Because I can remember we were working together actually last semester.
Yes. So last semester I was a reporter, and then the semester before that I was a reporter.
Okay.
But during the summer I was training to become the editor-in-chief for this semester.
All right, awesome.
So what do you have to say for students who want to be a reporter or want to get involved in the Vista? How do they go about doing that?
Well, I mean, we encourage people to write to us all the time. You don't necessarily have to be on paid staff to submit something for us. But I would definitely go and just kind of come and talk to the editorial staff. We're always in MassCom in the newsroom, and going and talking to professors saying, hey, I'm interested in this. They can connect you to us, and we're more than happy to meet people.
Yeah, of course. Opportunities are all around campus. So we'll be coming back after a short break. Thank you, Caitlin.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And we'll be right back.
Hello and welcome back to UCentral Live on the campus of UCO. We have yet another special guest, Bill Hickman. It's so great to have you here.
Thank you. So good to be here.
All right, and so what are some of the panels and stuff that you've been doing this week for MassComms Week?
I've been upstairs just doing general counseling, mentoring. If any of the editing class came in, we talked to them about their assignment, which is due at midnight Friday. Thank you. And I know I'll be seeing all that, but just general counseling, so forth.
What have been some questions that you've been asked as far as the counseling? Or what are some common questions that students have?
Should I take media law in the summer? And I tell them, fasten your seatbelt, because that and any other summer class, 2-month period, you're going to be doing a full semester in half the time. Mm-hmm. So I try to get them ready for this. And I've been asked that. And was it wrong for me to put off media writing until the next to last semester? The answer to that is yes. And just general advice about interning. Interning is very important. Anytime you can get an internship, I think a successful internship can mean more to a person than a transcript. It is.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What else? And talk about their false schedules and whether they can get into this class, that class, that sort of thing. You try to help them out.
So you teach editing here at the campus, is that correct?
Editing is an interesting class because 5 years ago or more, it was a newspaper news desk editing class. Now it's an editing class, but the jobs have all shifted into the freelance world. The news editing is still out there. It's just that they're not doing it on a newspaper anymore.
Yes, yeah.
And there are a number of freelance websites, and the American Copy Editors Society, which you should consider for a professional affiliation, where you learn that the really good copy editors out there can make upwards of, I'm not kidding, $60 an hour editing. Okay? Wow. So we try to keep it relevant and fresh. My contacts with the American Copy Editors Society, copydesk.org, and you'll learn all about that.
All right, and would you say now is like one of the best times to get into editing with the freelance, or are you more of a fan of the traditional newspaper days, do you think?
I worked at the Dallas Morning News in the glory years back in the day, and I can tell you that last August they set up a Facebook closed page, and in 2 months they gathered 1,000 people who had worked at the Dallas Morning News back in the day. Today, if you've got tons of self-initiative, that's the important thing. I don't know if you could earn a living doing it, but you could sure make a lot of money while you're waiting for an opportunity to come along if you know how to edit. And yeah, it is a good time.
All right, sounds good. Thank you so much for being with us here, Bill Hickman. You are watching UCentral Live on the campus of UCO. We'll be right back.
Hi, welcome back. You're watching UCentral Live on the UCO campus. We have Ryan Davis here, and he is our behind-the-scenes guy. So, what is it like to be behind the scenes?
It's actually a lot different than a lot of people think. I know a lot of people don't actually get to see what's behind the scenes, and so people are like, "Oh, it's magic!" Like, "Oh, it's mystical!" It just happens. No, I push the buttons. I make sure that everything is timed correctly. If something is not timed correctly, of course, it's my fault. So everybody can just blame me.
It's always his fault.
But so it definitely is a really cool experience knowing that you're in control of what's happening for the newscast. And so it's a lot of fun being behind the scenes and understanding how a newscast actually works.
All right, well then my question is, if you're out here, who's in the control room right now?
I have a TD in training covering for me right now, and I taught her everything, you know, how to, hopefully, don't explode.
Black, we know why.
Yeah, so much fun.
Yeah.
How did you get to the behind the scenes? Have you always wanted to do that? Or?
I actually started off as music production, and I was like, you know what, I want to go into video and try to work into like music video industry and do videos and stuff. And so I was like looking at, you know, OU, OSU, and then I actually came and met with a couple of the professors here, and I realized that I really liked the environment here. The professors seemed really nice, so I started coming here. And then I took a video class with Des Hill and got me really interested in news. And once I started doing like TDing and directing and audio and just having a lot of fun behind the scenes, I was like, this is what I want to do. I ended up was very lucky, got to intern at KOCO doing the exact same thing here. And it was just a lot of fun meeting everybody, getting good connections and stuff like that.
Yeah, of course. So then where do you want to go after college?
After college, I would love to probably go to a smaller market, try to get some more experience in directing and TDing, and then hopefully one day come back here and definitely TD at one of the stations here.
Yeah.
So you're definitely looking to stay in Oklahoma overall.
Yeah.
So you chose UCentral, you chose UCO against OU or OSU, and you said it was for the feel of the campus. Is there like, what do you mean by that?
It's a very relaxed feeling here, like a lot of camaraderie. You feel like a part of a family here. It's definitely, you meet tons of people that have been in the industry. You also meet people that have done like major projects. We just had Palmer on, he award-winning documentarist.
Yeah,
so like you get to learn from people that have done it successfully and stuff like that. So it's actually a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's an amazing thing about UCO is just that the fact that all of our professors have had in the field experience, so they're able to really.
Yeah, that's one of the things that absolutely astonished me coming in, because I originally came in with the intent to transfer to OU, but I just ended up staying here. You know, I think for a lot of the same reasons you said. It's just a very nice, you know, campus feel, and there is that feeling of family. You know, we work together on the newscast there. You know, it's just.
And everything gets on time. Like, we're like, oh, do you need help? Do you need help?
Yeah.
We'll help you. Like, you should ask.
It's
like,
a good learning environment to be in.
For sure.
Definitely. Okay, well, any students that are interested in learning more about mass communication or who would like to look into majoring or minoring, feel free to come back. We'll have more seminars all day tomorrow. You can also go to our website in order to get plugged into the Vista or UCentral Media or any of our outlets. Thank you so much. You're watching UCentral Live.